I don't know what you heard about me, but we just watched a pimp documentary.
Let's
Oh
get
yeah.
to it.
Welcome.
Hit him with the intro.
Welcome and look into the eyes of truth and welcome that as well. Doc's short for documentaries with Phat Cat, the man who you used to know as being Phat Cat. Now it is the cat that's fat, babe. You know what I'm saying?
With it's Cat Daddy, baby.
It's Cat.
It's Cat Daddy, baby.
It's Cat. Okay, so Phat Cat has been upgraded to this episode to Cat Daddy. Now, what Cat Daddy and Young Pastry Me and Lil Matches, once a week we pick a documentary. We go around the horn. Somebody picks one. This is basically like a documentary book club. Nigga. It's a doc club. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do. You know. And this week.
Yeah. Make sure you shine that up right there, Playboy. You know what I'm saying? Need that shit to shine, baby. Got my bottom bitch waiting for me now. Come on down. Chop, chop. Chop, chop. Right now.
Perfect. Nigga, you missed your calling, by the way. I'm gonna slide that in here, because I feel as though you would have been perfect for that job. I'm just gonna put that out there. But so this week I selected, because it was on me, Iceberg Slim, The Portrait of a Pimp, on Amazon Prime.
AKA Robert Beck, because they know him at Iceberg Slim more than they did as their government. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yep. Bobby Beck. You know, I'm calling Bobby Beck if you that cool with the nigga. You know what I mean? Babo!
Shout out to Bobby, man. Shout out to Bobby. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Bobby, man.
So many people know and many don't know. Like, I'm familiar with Iceberg Slim before going into this, but I wasn't too deep into the story as of really knowing Iceberg Slim. And so I watched this documentary. So I appreciate actually knowing about, because, you know, many references in movies in the past I've heard, many references in hip hop. Iceberg Slim, half of motherfuckers that call their name something Berg is probably coming from him. Slim, you know what I mean?
Well, shit, that was Jay-Z's moniker at one point. Iceberg Slim.
It was the Iceberg Slim. Yeah, see, so Jay was an educated fellow. He liked to, you know, he was into reading a lot of things.
If you remember, they was Big was making a commission. You know what I'm saying? A group within the group. You know what I mean? And one of the forefronters was Iceberg Slim, aka Hove, aka Hovey Baby, aka as Dot Carter, aka Jay-Z. You know what I'm saying?
You talking reckless, but always on righteousness points, nigga. You know what you're doing. Yes. So Iceberg Slim. Now, what I was just kind of put on, I knew the name and I knew the game.
Hello.
But I did not know the range of time frame that man remained.
Right.
I know he was pimping back in the 40s. Let me get that out because that was kind of like, oh shit. I thought this was your 60s, 70s era pimp. Like, you know what I mean, Don Juan and them. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking that's that era. But it's like, no. Iceberg was pimping back in the 40s.
Being pimping since Pam Pam.
Now, Iceberg Slim, a.k.a. Robert, what's the last name again? Beck. Robert Beck, not in the neck, but Beck, was born in 1918. 1918. So in 1938 was around the time he was 20 years old, 21 is when he kind of was around his pimping since Big Pimpin'. Yeah, man, this was why did I pick this one? I don't know. It was a fucking pimp story, and I thought it was kind of dope. I said, let me hear about it, because then I seen the trailer, and when I didn't really put into play was like, okay, this was about a pimp that became a world-renowned author. So I was like, that's pretty fucking dope. So now I know Lil Maddie, I believe you said you checked out a book or two. I have not.
On the audio book.
Audio book.
Oh, yeah. I got a confession to y'all, man. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't like doing this too much with the confessions and shit, because then people think that they know me and shit. You know what I'm saying? But after I saw this doc, man, you know what I mean? I went right to Audio Vox, went in that motherfucker, man, and got all his motherfucking books, man.
Nice.
Now, does he narrate all of them? Man.
I got all them motherfuckers, man.
He
All of
doesn't
them
narrate all.
motherfuckers.
Oh, he didn't narrate all
Oh
of them,
no,
did he?
no. There's some other motherfucker talking shit behind his words though. But I know where the words coming from though, baby. It's coming from the man himself. You know what I'm saying? But you got that
Iceberg,
other motherfucker talking.
Iceberg
But it's all
Slim.
right. I don't pay attention.
Listen.
Let you pay attention, but I pay attention. You feel me?
You
And
dig
it
what I'm
don't
saying?
cost a cent.
Right, grab this spoon and dig with me. You know what I'm saying?
You picking up what I'm putting down?
Listen, nigga, I picked it up and put it back down with you. You know what I'm saying? Shit, let's roll with it.
Yeah.
The
Yo, but how he
Iceberg
got
Slim,
the name? How he got the name was crazy.
Oh, yeah. Talk
phenomenal.
about that. Come on,
Phenomenal.
explain that, baby.
He's
So
at a
Iceberg,
bar.
he's at a bar. Boom, break it down.
So he's at a bar and he said he's on so much cocaine.
Right?
Hold
Don't
on.
forget
Let's
that's the part.
emphasize that now. Now let's emphasize
No,
that. That man
he
said
was
he was so full
so right
of cocaine.
of cocaine.
So
High as fuck. There's an argument going on at the bar, right?
Yep.
Couple stools down, niggas is getting
Mhm.
into it. And one of the dudes pulled out on the other cat.
let the blicky fly, take a shit and cry.
Popped a shot at the dude.
Yep.
Bad aim, what most people have, especially in a bar, I'm sure. Niggas
Uh-huh.
drunk. Took a wild shot, missed the nigga, but went down to the end of the bar, went through
Robert Beck's hat.
Robert Beck, aka Iceberg Slim hat.
That shit went through
And
right there, man. Right through that
went
motherfucking head
right
right
through
there,
his
man.
fucking hat, and they said the motherfucker didn't even flinch.
Not a motherfucking wink, man.
They said he was just like, yo, man, you like cold, man, you like Iceberg cold, and they still laughed at it. Iceberg Slim, that's your new name, Iceberg Slim.
Yep.
Hence that name was born, and that was before he was. That's when he was just starting to get into the streets a little bit, hanging and shit. He wasn't even pimping yet. He was out there robbing and shit. Like he did a couple prison terms, couple prison bids.
Yep.
And this is a story of redemption for a man who lived a life, man, that people would look at as a scumbag part of life, and he was willing to bare his soul and let it all out about the game and what it was. You know what I mean? And he put out books, man. Shit, yeah, man. I was intrigued by this one, man. You know, I like a good turnaround story. You know, we like pimp stories. I mean, that's kind of our natural.
It's like the American way. You know what I'm saying? Everybody likes a comeback. You know what I mean?
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll, man. It's kind of like it. No matter what you say, it's gonna pull you in, and you're gonna be intrigued a little bit by it. You know, any one of those categories. You know, so this was one of them that probably had everything in it. Maybe it wasn't rock and roll, but it was some music at the time. The 40s was probably more swing. You know what fucked me up though? Is like, wow, heroin and cocaine was been that fucking big back then in the 30s.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like,
especially that heron, how he was saying,
right?
The heron. You know the heron. You know what I mean?
And they always had the best names.
Oh man.
What was the guy? What was his boy that he was real close with? Was it Party something?
Yeah. Shit. Party man, party style, party some shit.
Party. Yeah, it's just like, you
know
got
what I mean?
crazy names. Party something.
Come on, let's go. Hold on. Hey, five. We got to look that up, baby. We got to go. We got to go. We got to look that up, baby. I know. I see you. I see you working.
Woo! But so many fillies in the stable.
We on top of things in this motherfucker.
A filly is a female horse. So when you say fillies in the stable, you know what he's talking about. It ain't really talking about what they're talking about. So the game of pimping. Now in this documentary, I believe, if I seen correctly at the beginning, this documentary was presented by none other than Mr. Ice-T. He had cameo parts in there, but he presented this whole shebang. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of interviews with Snoop, you know, Iceberg Slim's kids, who actually
and also girls. The Office too. His co-writers, you know what I'm saying? His label mates, so to speak, inside of the publishing company. You know what I mean? He had his fellow writers too, that they allowed to talk about this too. You know what I mean? It was an in-depth piece of work, man. You know what I mean? And it definitely like I kind of knew without knowing, but I really didn't know how in depth, you know what I'm saying, it was. Now, it was cool because you got to keep in mind, like you said, this was the 40s, man. You know what I mean? Like, and this is times where, like, you want to talk about fucking racism. You know what I'm saying?
He had to
Try
put all that
doing what
shit
he was
somewhere
doing.
else. Right.
You know what I'm saying? And try to, with that in the forefront and all around you. Never mind leaving that and pushing that aside to fucking get your shit together to manipulate women to bring you money. Like, what? Like that's another level of mind, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
There's so much in the world. Like, you think about what's going on now with pandemics and, with the racial injustice fights that are going on, man. And you're talking about back then when it was like, you're talking the thick. You're in, you know what I mean? You're in the woods, in the thick of things. It's like, no, it was heavy back then, man. You know what I'm saying? So for you to try to prosper and have any kind of gain of wealth and not be of the majority, it wasn't happening. You know what I'm saying?
The example he put up himself was fucking appalling to me, man. They fucking burn a kid and take a picture just because he went down the wrong.
Oh yeah,
route.
I seen that. I seen that picture before, man. That was
that
that's been etched in my head. That's been one. That's what they talk about when you look back in the country of, like, man, people did.
And I didn't know that was the cause of the riots and other Watts riots over there because of that of what they did to that boy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
They've been doing shit like that forever,
that was
man.
crazy.
And that's why it's like, man, let's not be blind to this shit. Like, motherfuckers were doing broad day lynchings and it was all right with it. So for him to be a pimp back then, it was and we'll go back to the beginning of his story a little bit. I know I jumped a little far.
Yeah,
but
let's not jump around too much.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Pimps jump around all the time. They slap people
all the time. All right, I like that. Okay. They jump around. Yeah, they do from bitch to bitch. Yeah,
but
if
you tap into the mind of one, and a lot of times the root stem of where that comes from is them having problems with women, majority of their mothers. You know what I'm saying?
Let's talk about it.
In his case, he was talking about it. So it wasn't even his mother. Remember, the way I don't mean to laugh because it was fucked up what she did, but the way he said it when he was talking about Maud. Maud was the lady who molested him, basically. You know what I'm saying? When he was younger. You know what I'm saying?
Babysitter. That's what it was. It was his babysitter.
Right. But I didn't mean to laugh.
For the lame motherfuckers that don't know, the guy in the back over there that's not paying attention.
Right. So when he was explaining it in his words, I think in one of the books or something, and he was like, she was aggressive, and he's like, she grabbed me, and he said I was buried in her, like, he called it the Maud jungle or something. He called it the Maud pie or something. He called it like a word he used that was like, why you say that to make me laugh, nigga? You talking about something serious, man. But you said some smooth ass shit he said in her Maud pie, her Maud fur or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, nigga. But it started with her.
You know what I mean? This and that.
And then it led to Moms, and he was seeing how Moms was playing that dude he really liked. The guy Steve. Yeah, Steve was the guy who basically was going to be that male figure mentor in his life that he needed. And Mom played the shit out of him. The guy that told him, don't worry, I'll be back for you. Bounced and never came back. Mm-hmm. And that nigga was like, man, I idolized that guy. And
hold on.
My own mother did that.
Let's bring deeper content to that too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, break it down.
Like that was the only real father figure that gave a shit about him.
Yep.
You know what I mean? These people are saying that this gentleman, you know what I mean, like basically lived for her and for him. You know what I'm saying? And was molding him. You know what I mean? So he's growing up as a right state of mind dude in a broken home, but this guy is raising him right. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. To get calm, you know what I'm saying? Check it out. Check how this shit work, right? A dude, supposedly a pimp, right? Sweeps his moms off her feet, convinces and manipulates her while she's involved with another man that's doing the right thing, you know what I'm saying? To leave that stability in her life that she got currently, to leave that, to go with him on a venture that he says, supposedly, yeah, we go, right, I got you, which was all bullshit.
Yep.
And look what happened. You know what I mean? So in his mind, I believe, you know what I'm saying? I really believed he was like, yo, listen, I'm never going to be that guy that my mother did that to.
Yeah.
Right.
I really believe that. You know what I'm saying?
I
And
agree.
they say your parents are your first teacher. Then for your first
You know what I'm
teacher
saying?
to be your single
And
mom,
I want to
was
say
doing
that
men
now
like that. It's like,
because
oh,
at
shit.
the end of the segment, I want to bring it back because it's going to be full circle. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be full circle. Right now, I'm giving you the 180, but the 360's coming. You know what I mean? So
Yo, you got to put on that Pimp hat more
no.
often, nigga. This shit flowing right now, nigga.
So now his mom's moves with the dude to Chicago, out of all places.
Chi-town.
You know what I mean? And
epicenter
that's
of
like
prostitution.
yeah, like out there,
yeah.
that was it. You know what I mean? At the time, wide open. Everything is wide open. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You know, black people. You know what I'm saying? If you knew somebody, you had the good job. If you didn't, you was poor and scrounging.
Right.
You know,
Chicago. So you had to hustle.
predominantly white and mob infested. You know what I'm saying?
So you got somebody like him that took his words and said, "This is how I'm gonna make money. I'm gonna convince these chicks."
Well, he went in his mind. He's because he was a bright individual. Like he was like an honor roll student before they had the honor roll.
Yep.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because that's what he was saying. He was saying he had a high grade point average, so he was a smart individual. You know what I mean? But
they said they wanted him to be a lawyer. Was it one of the teachers tried to convince him to be a lawyer?
Right, to be a lawyer, because no, I think it was his. Was it a teacher? I thought he said it was his mother, because they wrote. You know, the Tuskegee Airmen back then was a big thing, so they wrote for him to go into to their school in Alabama. He got in trouble, you know, moonshining, bootlegging on campus. What a guy. You know what I'm saying? That's like nowadays. You know what I mean? That's like me nowadays going to, you know what I'm saying, going to a prestige school and fucking selling cocaine out the ass out there and get caught. You know what I mean?
Like
power. That's
like
the equivalent. Power. You know what I mean?
Tyreek from Power.
He does exactly. You know what I mean? He does that, right? Gets knocked, goes back home. That's what you know what I mean? I thought this where, you know what I mean? He went back home and you know, and his moms was like kind of telling him, boy, you know, you got all sense of good in you, but you were attracted to all the wrong things.
Yeah.
Like why don't
poison?
She's like, why don't you just become a lawyer and get a license to be with these people that you want to be around?
Yeah.
Right.
And in his mind, right? And his mind was like, oh shit, what the fuck better advice is that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you know, he took that the other way. And I forget the dude that he met with his right hand man with the glasses. I forgot his name. But he the one that really showed him the ins and outs of how
Top something.
Yeah, the first guy.
Yeah.
You know
I feel
what I mean?
like it was Top something. But
and I love the way they drew the guy with the glasses with the lazy eye and shit.
Yeah,
you can see the lazy eye through the glasses and shit. That was dope. I like that. But that dude, you know what I mean? He was like the you know, telling him the business, and then the biggest, and then you know then he transitions to be the biggest underlord pimp in Chicago, to where another pimp, you know what I mean, like the biggest pimp at the time was like, yo, listen, man, your bitches and the FBI, your bitches and the cops are putting the case against you, bro. Watch yourself. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, that's when he gets his first stints with the law and goes to jail and shit and starts that thing, you know what I mean? And that avenue of shit, you know what I'm saying?
Right, because he did like 2 years the first time or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But he had a burglary charge. Like he was out there, you know, a couple B&Es and shit. Like, yeah, he was doing all kinds of shit, drugging and thugging and
But yo, there's a quote in there too, man, that I like that he said when he was talking to the interviewer when he was in the bar. He was saying, he's like, look, man, everybody wants something from nothing. He's like, but when you try to get something from nothing, you always gonna suffer.
Yep.
I had to. You know how many times I brought that line back, him saying that, man?
Right.
Just to grasp, because I wanted really to grasp, because I was hearing him. I was listening, but I didn't grasp. Bro, I think I fucking rewind that thing like fucking 8 times, man.
That's awesome.
I think Stevie
You know what
Wonder
I'm saying?
said that too. Something that did.
You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, wow, like
right.
now this is back in the fucking 50s and 40s, like in the 50s now.
Right.
You know what I'm
It's
saying? He's
crazy
having
because
this
you think
interview.
about it, like in the 60s when he was like made his switch around or whatever, like he was an older man then. It's like, yo, that nigga was, but it's like, shit, I had to really dive into like how old the nigga really was. Like 1918, oh, okay, he was 38, 40 when he was in his prime, you know, doing his dirt in the streets. It was like in the 1940s, which is woof, like you said, unheard of, especially for a black man and being out there. It's like, what, you trying to do what? But at that point, he probably Baby Bell. There you go.
Baby Bell.
Yeah.
Good shit.
Bell.
Good shit.
Baby
That was
Bell.
it.
Yep. And you know,
Yo,
and back
but
then,
real quick, Baby Bell used to travel with 32 pieces of luggage. What the fuck?
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
he said that was a highlight of his. Like, oh shit, that nigga got 30. Like,
Think
you gotta
about
know,
that. That nigga said 32 baggage of luggage. Just think about that.
yo, Pimp shit is like clean, pristine down to the bottom of the shoes.
Yep.
You know what I mean? The whole look,
You
hair
feel
done, nothing outdone, and it's like they have it. And you think about it, man. A lot of these women are like lost women anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
At that
And
time,
like,
at that time too.
right.
You got
At
to
the
think about it.
time,
At that time, women weren't so
Right.
like independent and
Nope.
fucking liberal.
Right, they couldn't get
like
jobs
they are
like
now.
that.
You know what I'm
Right, they
saying?
couldn't just go get a
Right.
job. There was like a handful of jobs they could do. You know what I mean? That's the women jobs.
Yep.
You do that women bucket job list.
Secretary. Yeah.
Right. If you can't do that, then that's you ain't got no job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that one
You're gonna
job
be a
right
secretary and you're gonna get hit on constantly. You know?
there. Right. So it's like that one job there is just always gonna be like, all right, what's it gonna cost? It's gonna cost you a lot, baby. You're gonna put out, you know, for random strangers at all times. And then you gotta give, if not half, most of your money to the nigga that's telling you he got your back. You know what I mean? It's like, but it was that when he was breaking it down to like, you have to have that balance of sensibility of being sensitive and also putting your foots in them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
And you can't fuck them too much because you can't, let them touch God. Which
that
is
was, yo, that
insane.
was,
That's
yo,
another
that
quote,
was,
which is
that
like,
was a quote right there where he's like, he said, you're
Yeah.
like God to them. So you can't just keep having sex with him because it's like, what good is that if you just keep having sex with God? He's not a God anymore.
What
You know
if you
what I mean? Type shit
what
like-
if you moan one time and it turns into a whimper, and now she's like, "Look what I just did to God."
Right,
No good.
right,
You lost your
right,
power.
right,
You let out
right.
they
They stood in that place where they made it feel like if you was getting this pimp dick, you was privileged and blessed today.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they had the way to present that shit, and it's like, you right, daddy, you right. And whether there's daddy issues with some of these girls or whatever, there's definitely some issues when you think about it, because it's like, damn, how can not even just women, but just anybody succumb to that? You know what I'm saying? That part of their life. But when you go there and it's like some of them just wanted that guidance. And when nobody gave a shit in them about their life, it's fucked up that this nigga's the one that give a shit about you because of what he's doing. But they saw it as like, no, he cared though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wasn't nobody fucking with him. You know what I'm saying? He had that on lock. You know what I mean? Like, go ahead, let me know if somebody fuck with you. He gonna put a work in the streets for it. He's protecting his investment. You know?
Yep.
That's how he's seeing it. They see it as like, you give a shit, you're nurturing me. He said it's like, look, I got to take care of you because you got to get this money for me. It's like keeping my machines oiled up so that it could work in the warehouse, you know?
When he was saying near the end, talking about being cold-hearted with a girl that came back with only $50 after the day, and she's like, "Oh, I'm on my period and my stomach," and he's just like, "You ain't got lockjaw, do you? The fuck back out there." It was like, whoa, yeah, he's right. You got to be
that's still that pimp shit.
Cold-hearted, ice,
right?
Like,
right. So the whole thing is, you got to remember, when you're a pimp, if you're not that way, you're not gonna get the
like what when Ice-T said that him and his boy tried to do pimping.
That was a great story.
Definitely, that's a good one to watch. You got.
Let's not pass over that, please.
No, please tell that one.
Ice-T said that he was trying to put it into motion to where like he had these two girls that he was trying to pimp with him and his homeboy.
He had the book.
And he was taking it said,
directly from the book.
He kept running in the other room to read the book and just like, wait, what do we do now? He said the girls caught on and they fucking stole his homeboy's car the next day. And said,
he's like, y'all don't know what y'all doing, do y'all? Y'all don't know what y'all doing.
Yeah, before that, the bitch just came out and be like, yo, how long y'all been doing this shit?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
just to give you a context of that story is, after his days of retired, after he was locked up for that second time, and he had a real, and he got put in solitary confinement. That's what broke him down in there.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Solitary confinement is what made him unlock that part of him
Of his
to not want to be right, to write and everything, and not to want to be doing that life anymore. He came out of prison and changed. You know what I'm saying? And he started getting into writing, and then he met Homegirl. When he changed his thing, was it what the hell was it? The
His
wife,
first
the ex-wife,
wife?
first wife. Yeah.
I forget her name, but I'll get it.
It's funny because when you see her, it's like, ooh, did you look better when you was younger? Because
and then she did though. When they was she was a baddie. You know what I'm saying? And also all the girls that all these dudes had, for some reason, I don't know if you peep on it, but for some reason, and it's fucked up, but the white women, they had looking a lot better for some reason. You know what I'm saying?
What do you mean? Like,
You mean the girls that they were
check it
pimping?
out, yes.
Okay.
Yes. You know what I mean?
But you got to remember too.
The white hoes for some reason look better than the black ones. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, But then I'm thinking at that time, you know what I'm saying? And that mindset in that time.
Well, you go in that era. You go by clientele in that era.
Right. That was the white women were the higher clientele, getting clientele.
Right.
More people.
Well, you figure that the guys that are paying bigger money are more white pristine guys that,
of course,
maybe if they had a chocolate dream, they may be down there like, yo, I never really I kind of been thinking about having a little black something. You know what I mean? Unless they have that kind of deal, more than likely they're gonna want that white girl. Or you got brothers that it's like it's taboo. You know what I mean? Black dude like, yo, I never get to a white girl without getting killed.
It was basically a win-win. In their situation, it was a win-win.
Right. But
Betty Shue was the first wife. Betty Shue. Betty Shue.
Betty, a.k.a. Betty.
Yeah.
Beck. They married in the 60s.
Betty Beck.
And she's the one that got him writing.
She was the one that actually did all the writing. He was spitting it out to her. He said, write this down. Because she was like, he was saying stuff. She's like, oh, the stories so great. She goes, you need to write this stuff down. And he was like, what? She's like, the stories are so intricate, so deep. And it's like, you need to write it down. And she said, one night, she said, look, go. I'm just going to, and, she was a fucking, what they say, her daughters were like 160 words, WPMs.
Words per minute.
Oh, my God.
That's
Thank
moving.
you for bringing the daughters up. I appreciate you for bringing up the daughters, man. You know what I'm saying?
He had 3 daughters with his first wife, Betty Beck.
He had 4. He had 4.
Yeah.
He had 3 kids.
There was the one white girl that we didn't. Oh, that was a.
No, that was a guy.
Yeah, they didn't talk about him. Though.
That
was him. Yeah, that was him. Yeah.
Dude,
but he's an actor too. They had his title as actor. His title didn't say son of, but he looked like him though.
But he was just, at the end, and I'm thinking, and I'm like, when he said what he said, when he was like, yeah, daddy this, I'm like, when his sister called and said dad died, I'm like, you motherfucker, I knew you looked like him, but I didn't assume that you really were related to
his title. That's funny you said that, because I was like, I had to go back. I'm like, yo, did I miss them describing him as his son? I don't remember them saying that.
Right. No, it just put actor or some shit.
Because he's Bobby, he was Bobby, but his name was totally different. He even had a different name, like a stage name.
Right, he didn't carry the Beck last name either.
No Beck, and he wasn't a Bobby Jr.
How about the girl talking about when she got locked up? You think that was? You think she really got caught with 30 kilos in a minute?
She said, did she say 30 or she said 10?
No, she said, I got caught with 30 keys in the mail in cash.
Yeah, I remember the million in cash, but that was a weird.
She was like 30 kilos in the mail. I'm like, yo, was she really real about that shit?
And my dad called and got it out done for me.
Yeah.
Because first of all, when she first came on camera, when I first laid it, I'm like, this bitch high on some coke, nigga.
She looked high. You know what's crazy though? At the end of it, when it said in loving memory of, I think she's one that died. She died at 46.
Ooh.
Camille, I think it was. Huh? At the end, it said in loving memory of. It said her name.
Camille is his mother's name.
No. This was
at the end was R.I.P. to him and his mother. That I saw.
You sure? I don't know. I thought they put her name in there. No, because they said she died in 2010. I saw the Beck. I looked up, man. That said 10, brother. Hold on. Let me get my mind together. Hold on, I'm gonna go back and look at my history.
Check it out.
On Wikipedia, it doesn't say that he has a son. It said, after his release from prison in 1961, Beck met Betty Shue, who became his common-law wife and the mother of his 3 daughters, Melody, Misty, and Camille, while he was working as an insecticide salesman. Yeah, we forgot about that. That's what he did when he first came out. He was
exterminator.
an exterminator.
Yeah.
Shue encouraged Beck to write his life story and helped him write the drafts. Beck married Diane in 1982. So yeah, they don't mention a son.
So
No,
that
they
guy must have been his. So what the fuck?
No, look, Camille Beck.
He was there. He was in the baby picture.
Listen,
He was all in
Camille
all the baby
Beck.
pictures.
Camille Beck was born in '64 and died in 2010. That was one of his daughters, man.
Yeah, that is. They said Misty, Melody, and Camille.
Yeah, Camille. She died in 2010, so they put an honorable mention for her, man. I think that was the one that got hit with the brick. But it was because in the article I read, it said that she overdosed. You said it what? What did he say?
No, because that's the one. Yeah, but don't you remember? Because one of the daughters was playing in the front yard and got hit by a brick.
Oh,
I just wasn't ready for you to say it. I remember it happening. I just wasn't ready for you to remind me.
I kind of because then when she came on the first one to scene, she was acting how she was acting. Rest in peace, first and foremost, and please,
right?
You know what I'm saying? They said she overdosed. I'm not trying to make no funny to dad. I'm not trying to say none of this is not none of this or that.
You didn't do anything wrong. It was all me.
First and foremost, respect the dad. You know what I mean, and all spirits and all of that. But I mean, it is what it is. When they first, like I said, when she first came on the scene and started talking on the interview and shit, you know what I mean? I was like, yeah, she is high on cocaine. You know what I'm saying? That's my first impression. I'm like, yeah,
she was wired up, yo. She was fired up.
But then, they started talking, and then they started explaining, and then all of a sudden they said, oh yeah, one of his daughters, you know what I mean, got hit over the head for the brick because of the racial tensions. She was she was mulatto, she was light skinned but dark skinned too, white and black. You know what I'm saying? So, then I'm like, oh, maybe, that's maybe the after effects, the way she was acting. Maybe that's the after effects of her, getting hit from the brick because, you know what I mean? I'm going to assume, she got hit in the head and she got hit in the head pretty hard. You know what I mean? So that's going to leave some damage. Right. So I thought that was the damage.
You said you got to remember, it's like, here I am in this neighborhood I'm accustomed to, but now when the race riot broke out, it's like, you know what I'm saying?
It's a whole new world.
It's a whole right. It's like, here I am with this white woman and my mixed kids. Oh, they looked at me crazy. You know what I mean? It's like, the fuck am I doing? So when that was interesting. He said that when he said he moved them to a neutral spot where he couldn't be in a upper class white neighborhood and he couldn't be down in the hood. There was like a medium. There was a medium spot they had to go to where it was like he said the only place. Well, he said that line. He said the only place. He said I didn't feel like he said I didn't feel like a nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No. He said no. He said he never. He said that I'm glad you brought that up because I did want to bring that up as well. When he was talking that part, he said, that's why I loved the ghetto because there was no census there. They don't go and take census in the ghetto.
Right.
That's why I never filled out no census. You know what I mean? Because, you know what I mean? And then he's like, because I was never reminded I was a nigga.
Right.
That's his mind. Check out his train of thought and how he thinks. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So basically, he's so comfortable in this environment, in a poor, poverty and stricken environment, but he looks at that as home because he's not reminded of the stigma every day.
Right. You live in a certain neighborhood, they're gonna remind you at that, especially at that time. Like, oh, what are you? There he goes.
Right. It's gonna be everywhere.
There goes the neighborhood. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Once you got that money and that clout, comes all that other shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
but nah, he did
he's
change his life around.
I'm gonna stay where it's at. And then he came to the bottom line to where she was explaining that, listen, baby, this is all we're ever gonna stay. Because you white, I'm black, we ain't never gonna be accepted anywhere else but the hood. Yeah. Right. So this is it. You know what I mean? I give her props, man, because now, since now we have arrived to the full circle, because you brought up his first wife, now he gets the diabetes. Let's talk about that. You know what I'm saying? Yep. He was diabetic. At 51, you know what I mean, when he was starting, that's when he signed the book deal with
Holloway.
Holloway Publishing.
Holloway. Yep.
Holloway Publishing in California. You know what I'm saying? Which I believe those motherfuckers is crooks. Fuck them.
Oh yeah. Oh, they was getting them. You seen the royalty checks? They was getting them, nigga.
Ugly.
Come on, man. You fucking kidding me, man? If they would have had a lawyer, my nigga, if they would have had a lawyer going through all that shit, them motherfuckers would have been sued out the ass. But they was just on the fly. Listen.
Yeah, but you see his excuse, so he goes, hey, we put everything out there for everybody. We let them see everything. Like, nigga, stop lying, man.
For that time, motherfucker.
Right.
But you knew
if he was around, I'm pretty sure he'd say something different.
But that's another thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Here,
so now so at 51, you know what I mean? He's really starting to see the legit life blossom now. You know what I mean? Boom, boom, boom. He's got diabetes. He's doing his thing. You know, he's doing stand-up. He's doing albums, you know, talking about everything. You know, he got his movies. You know, everything is everything. Boom, boom, boom. Then, you know, he gets a cold. They come to a crash and stop. Things aren't looking good. Things are going bad now again. You know what I'm saying? So now the wife coming at him like, yo, listen, nigga. I ain't never paid a man's rent in my life, and I ain't never going to stop now. So either you get motherfucking bread in this house, or me and the kids is out. Bottom line. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? He couldn't get money up. She bounced. Son took it hard. Again, here's the circle now. He was now mobbed. He became the guy he was so much trying to prevent of becoming.
Bars.
He now felt what the guy felt when his mother left him.
The Maud was the lady, the babysitter.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, excuse me.
I believe
Steve.
Yep.
My mistake. My bad, y'all.
No, you're on point. You got it. I know what you're saying.
But now it came full circle. You know what I mean? Because now he felt everything. Now in his mind, he's like, I'm a dead man. I became the motherfucker I did not want, and I prevented so much to become. Now it happened to me. You know what I mean? So that's why I think, you know,
Betty bounced.
He took it so hard, and she couldn't understand why. But as soon as she said she left and he hit rock bottom, I was like, yep, because he became that dude. He became Steve.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So much everything
I didn't
he
put that
wanted.
together.
Right. That's crazy.
I'm saying that's the only thing I believe that's why he became like that. And then, you know, with the diabetes and all of that on him, you know what I'm saying? His body's starting to fail him. So, you know, everything was just gone, you know what I'm saying, in his life basically right then and there. Until he met his second wife. You know what I'm saying? And by that time, you know, he was already probably failing on his last leg. You know what I'm saying? But
they were talking about how the sickness took away creativity too. Because if you just constantly feel like shit, you're not going to want to write stuff. Like if you just, you know, a lot of it
worrying about your health and your well-being and shit.
Yep. Well, did it say that? Well, I know you said you just went and grabbed the series. How many total books did he put out?
Oh man, there's about I mean there's like 6 off rip, but there's a lot, man. There's a lot. He did a lot of books, bro.
Yep.
And then not only that, like his books that he did broke off into other people putting his book in different languages.
Right.
Also,
different languages. They also inspired a lot of black exploitation movies.
Yep. Young authors as well. Young black writers as well.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like
what was with the end where Baby and Cash Money were putting out the books now?
Well, that's what he was saying. He said they bought out the rights, and they're always going to constantly republish all them to keep them books going. You know what I'm saying?
Only thing that changes is the cover, man.
Yep.
And then Chris Rock said when he wraps a movie, he'll buy the book Pimp for everybody. That shit was nuts.
That was crazy. When he said that.
Crazy how you say,
Chris Rock.
Any questions you got in life?
It's right there.
The answers are in that book.
And somebody looks at it and goes, Pimp. Like, yo, it's a life lesson though. It's showing you. He said, I know a lot of people when he was talking about it, like people glamorize, but he said this, I'm not putting this out there for glamour, man. You know what I mean? This is not, you know what I mean? I have seen the light. This is not it type shit, you know?
Yep.
Yes. You know, that was the key. Because again, back at that same bar with that same interviewer, he asks him, But that this went the other way. Like this book did also inspire young black men to follow this trend.
Right.
Yes.
Pimping.
You know what I mean? And and that's when he's like, well, that's the misconception, because that's not what this is. This is just a tale, a story of.
This is a
It's
lesson.
tough, but
things
that's
not to
that's
do. You know what I mean?
Scarface. That's Scarface. And
Right.
whenever
Bam.
you're telling a story
Great
that
fucking
has a
example.
peak, whenever you're telling a story that has a
yes.
peak so high, that's all that people see. They see the highest point in the story.
Yes.
They don't see the part where you came back down and fucking died.
Right. You
They
remember
only
he got
see,
killed?
Like, yeah, but if I could touch there, you know what I mean?
Right. He had everything. He had a fucking tiger and a Porsche, nigga.
And that's what Ice-T was saying too. Ice-T was saying,
I think he tried to fuck his sister. I don't know what happened. That was a weird part of the movie. I don't know what happened there.
He was a little bit too much to his sister.
That's how he was saying that by him reading that book and by him reading his books, you know what I'm saying? That's how he was telling his stories in his raps. He was giving you the A side, but also the B side of it too. You know what I'm saying? The good and the bad. You know what I mean?
No, that was dope. Ice-T was
And now check this out. You got this deep level thinking, bro. You got this deep level thinking happening, in books back in the fucking 50s, 60s and 70s. You know what I'm saying? Well, till we're in 2020 where we can still be like, holy shit.
Yep.
Right.
Bro, I'm going to tell you straight up, I'm going to buy the book, Pimp. Like, I'm definitely going to buy it now. And I want to, I want to listen to it on audio. That's cool. But, man, I want to read that book.
You got to read. Man.
Listen, when a lot of people that you respect and look up to are saying, this book changed my life.
That book.
You read that book. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So,
I
agree. You don't walk away from that.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to wait until Chris Rock gives me one. You know what I mean?
God.
Right.
Now, what audio book thing do you have, Pete? Audio Vox, you said? Is that a monthly subscription?
Yeah.
Yo, what about the
people like me driving? Sometimes you got to do it, Pop it on.
The smooth talking dude that talked away his mother from Steve. Was he the one that threw him against the wall when he was a baby? Remember?
No, his father.
That was his real father.
Biological father.
Okay,
yes.
Yeah. But even that at the heart of, first off, there's the trauma with
3 years old.
And then
3 years old.
I don't know if he remembered it or he was just told it. But that's another thing of like, holy shit, man. They wanted to drop him off as a baby at the fucking church steps. And then when the mother refused, he tried to take it in his own hands and fucking end the baby's life by throwing it against the fucking wall. Like,
right. So she bounced about it.
Different level of humanity. Different level of humanity back then.
So, I mean, a nigga was, doomed at the beginning with the shit. Then mom's turned into somebody he just hated. But then that was crazy how that full circle came where his mother, he just wanted, he became so close to her near the end of her life. You know what I mean? And then when she died, she said, I ain't never seen him always fucking depressed. He took it bad. She said he took it bad when his mom died.
That was the
and
first
it's crazy
time
how
he
that
hit
happens.
Right.
But it's funny how that, how those something like that happens. Somebody he hated so much or despised in a way, hurt it so bad when she died, man. Almost because he didn't get that maybe reconciliation.
That's what he was saying.
Right.
That's what he was saying. He wanted to get out of jail to meet his moms. You know what I mean? And a lot of the people, you know what I mean, like all of like these professional, authors, journalists, doctors, and all these fucking people with titles at the time when he was saying like how that started his writing ability, because he had to write a letter to, I forgot, was it the warden or maybe the mayor, somebody.
To get out on time.
So he can get out and shit. So he wrote this elaborate fucking letter to this person, you know what I'm saying, upon, for him getting out, and he gets out and he goes right to his mom, because he was saying while he was locked up and fucking in the hole, you know what I'm saying, in solid, I call it the hole. You know what I'm saying?
Solitary confinement hole, yep.
Yeah.
Making movies with his mind. That's what he was doing in there.
Exactly. You know what I mean? He was saying he needed to tell his moms that he loved them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he wanted that so bad that, you know what I mean, he got the pen and pad and got the writing, got out, so his moms and was able to tell your moms I love you. You know what I'm saying? First, you know what I'm saying? This was, you know what I mean? And then, the rest is history,
Right.
Yeah, no, I think it was important probably for him to do it, because as he grew up through his life, he probably might have been like, yo, regardless if I mean it. Perhaps she just needs to
Right.
hear lose that weight.
Right. It's almost like, and I think she needed it, and he needed it too, because like
Yeah.
like I said, he came to that part of his life where he is now elevated to another level, and only thing that's probably missing is just like, yeah, I gotta let my mother know I forgive her, kind of deal. You know what I'm saying? Hey,
I
Ma,
think
it's
that
cool.
it happens with everyone. Like once you get old enough to where you can reflect back on like, oh, when my parents were this age, I was boom, and holy shit, I couldn't imagine taking care of me if I was only this age. Like it's
Right.
You'll
Right.
release a lot of that anger when you get to those type of
Right.
plateaus and you start
That's
thinking
for
like, oh shit.
that happened to me for my biological father. You
Yeah.
know, like I said, he took his own life when I was 5. So for a long time, I was upset with that, very
Yeah.
angry for a long time, because I thought it was very selfish. You know what I mean? Like, yo, you got kids out here, man. You got family. That's selfish, man. That's fucking selfish. But as I got older and I kind of get into the grips of like, man, you know what? I don't know what the fuck was going on in his life. I don't know what's going on in his head. I don't know what pushed him to that limit. People have a breaking point. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know. So you grab that and you learn from that, as far as like, Pops, I came to that point of telling nigga without even, I don't even fucking remember him even saying it, but saying it out loud, it made me feel good. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I forgive you, man, because
Of
I don't
course.
know. You know what I mean? I don't know what the fuck was going on with you. You know what I'm saying? And I it's not fair for me to do that and say that, that you didn't give a shit,
I think
because
all of
a long
us,
time you feel that way. You know what I mean?
as we live more and you experience more things, you start to understand everybody's like, they say that there's a certain, I don't know what it's called, but they talk about the thing like if you're driving on the highway and if you ever concentrate on like, holy shit, every one of these people around me has their own life with their own every fucking thing going on. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
just like I have a million things going on in my life, so does everybody else. And it's interesting when you start thinking of it, especially when you come to parents and shit like that. Like, if I had kids at 18 and 19, I probably wouldn't have been great. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that they weren't great, but just, you start to forgive them a whole lot more with like, yeah, I
Right.
get it, man. Things were, fuck, if I was in that situation, I wouldn't want to do it either,
Right. It's then a testament of time for you to really lock in and be involved in that.
Yeah.
And when you're not ready, even when you think you are, most people aren't, when they say they're ready. Baby
Don't let 'em
powder in the
see it
left
all.
hand, pop for the baby powder, nigga. But all in all, man,
Hey man, I did say that in one of my raps, man.
listen, pimping is a horrific, commendable thing. So I guess.
Bars?
I mean, if you know what I mean, it's like,
Well, now
I say horrific because if you actually really look at what it is you're doing to another
Yeah.
person, it's pretty horrific deed that you can do that. It's just it's just a form of slave labor. You know what I'm saying?
Indentured servitude.
Right. It's like, but then it's a slight sort of, you commend somebody, or, you look up to it in a way, like the celebrity status, which, nobody ever, it's like you think about, I look at it like somebody, Hugh Hefner, nigga, that nigga's a pimp, but he's idolized. You know what I'm saying? It's like he's the old man with nothing but fucking, 30 playmates running around his mansion half naked.
But Hugh Hef
You know what I
got
mean?
paid big time for it. He did it.
Right.
He went a whole different route with it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
But what I'm saying is he's, utilizing women exposing themselves for him to gain money. It's kind of like the same deal a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But not on
That's what
that.
I'm saying. He was
not on that bigger
definitely
level.
pimp, but he went. Oh, okay, I got you. I got you.
Right. It's invited into your living room in a different manner. You know what I'm saying? It's not like,
Right.
it's like, it's still in your living room, but it's like, hide it from the kids. You know what I mean? Or your wife, she might have an attitude about it or whatever. But it's not like, oh my God, you just went down to the whorehouse and you came here smelling like cigarettes and regret.
You know what was interesting was his kids disagreed on when he stopped pimping. That was interesting too.
Right.
Yeah.
Because one of them was the one that
Camille was like, shit, that motherfucker was doing his thing. The
Yeah.
other one was
she
like,
was all about it.
Yeah.
Was all. You could tell it's funny because when Camille was fired up talking like
life,
that,
man.
the younger sister next to her, and she was looking at her like, you could tell her face was kind of like,
nervous. She was mad nervous. She tried to make it. You know what I mean? She tried to front. Camille kept it real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The other sister try to front.
But
you know what I mean?
you can't say that. You can't say that she
I
fronted.
get it.
Because you could say that.
I
You can't say that
understand. I
because
understand
she
why
might not have
That's what it led to.
idolized it.
But
She's a
that's what I'm
woman,
saying.
man. You know what I mean? She might be like, yeah, my dad
listen.
was doing
But
that.
let me bring it now. Let me give you the B side of that. You know what I'm saying? But I say that to say this because you know she wanted to be the upstanding part of the I guess to keep that upstanding side of the family name and be like, nah, man, I wasn't down with the shit. You know what I'm saying? I had isolated my dad because of the shit. You know what I'm saying? Because of that lifestyle. He was never around. He was never around me. I fucking hated the shit. You know what I'm saying?
But then they pop up the picture. Then they pop up the picture with, Brick Tracy with her head against the titty, just like, and it was like, she might have been telling the truth, you know?
Now, you got Camille, right? Which, you got Camille where I believe she understood everything for everything. She understood the whole thing, in my opinion.
Right.
She saw that he was doing this to provide for his family, which he was.
He was.
But you know what I'm saying? For him, it was a thrill too. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yep.
It was providing for his family and it was the thrill. But Camille knew what was going down. She's like, man, listen.
I believe she was the oldest though too. I believe so.
Yeah, because
but in a way, when you look at it though, what she was doing. Well, she idolized it, but it was almost like a sense of like she wanted to walk in those shoes a little bit. She probably was trying to be a madam at one point. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yep. Maybe.
You know what I mean? Like she. It's like looking at Daddy. I idolized Daddy and everything he did. Daddy used to be a football player. Yeah, my dad was a football player. I idolized that. Maybe I want to play football. And I'm a young lady, and I don't care. Maybe one day I could be the first girl in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? Like,
damn.
Yeah.
You know, there's different
and
levels.
How about that first other trick that turned him out when he was a young teenage kid?
Yes. It was her name wasn't Isis, but it was something like it was a weird name that began with like an I and an S. Yeah.
Spicy something or something.
She freaked,
you know what I mean? Like
doing all kinds of things.
Ex-prostitute, you know what I'm saying, was in the game for a while, you know what I mean?
Right. And then she was another one a part of it because then she ended up playing him, if I'm not mistaken. Was she another part of why he triggered into the not like
he was saying
exactly.
She turned him out. That's what he was saying. She turned him out.
Right.
Yeah.
She turned him out, you know what I mean? And had him like, brown, he was brown nosing and had him open.
Right. And then he said, yeah, I could use somebody like you. You could be my bottom bitch.
One of the most genius things that I forget whose idea it was, but when he put the glossary in the books to explain to white people what these words meant,
that was his idea.
Sales went through the roof. As soon as he did that, sales went through the roof.
That was his idea because the fucking owner of the publishing company.
I don't know what you're saying here, bud.
The guy Bentley, I think his name was.
Yes.
He kept asking him.
He
kept
said,
asking him
what the fuck you talking about? You keep talking about bottom bitch and this
tricks
and cat daddy.
What's a trick? I don't know what a trick is. What's a trick?
And this and that.
He's like, all right. He said, I like when the other guy explained it. One of the authors, he said, you think about a trick, she's tricking him to pay for something that a normal man would get for free.
Yeah. A real man would get for free.
A real man would get for free.
A real man would get for free.
Tricking him.
That's the trick.
You know what I mean? That's the trick. You pay me the money, you can skip everything and pass go. Collect $200, nigga.
But I do want to get one of the reasons I want to get the book is because that list was long as shit. It wasn't just like 4 words. It was like,
and you got to know, like
40, 50 words.
Pimps in their finest were poets, man. You know what I'm saying? Like you get some of the best poets can come out of pimping, man. And niggas lay it down, and that's part of like, you know what I mean? If you had your words together, and we, if we were to, shit, we're pretty good. We're pretty good with words ourselves. If we want that, and if you put that energy of those into something like that, you can get it. You know what I mean? I never had that
word of mouth, man. The wisdom of mouth, that gift of gab. You know what I'm saying?
I know, especially
That's why you cat daddy, man.
When he was talking about, it's hard enough to control 1. Then think about controlling 8. Then think about you have to control 8, but they're together. It's not 8 different.
They're a pack now.
It's a pack.
And you know they fighting over who's gonna be next to daddy. Bitch, I'm hanging with him tonight. I'm hanging with. It's like almost like that. People have multiple wives, man. What's that called?
You got multiple wives, right, baby.
Polygamy. There you go, polygamy. You're right. So it's like people that are involved in that shit. They're all just paid polygamists. You know what I mean? I guess I don't know.
No,
They
now
get
those are the legal pimps. You know what I'm saying? Because they the ones that get married to five different women.
They're also portraying the trick. You know, they trick them to believing what most women wouldn't go for.
That's in their religion, supposedly. That's their religion.
Right.
You know what I'm
so
saying?
that's part of the trick. You're tricking somebody to think that because it says here, that's what you're supposed to be doing. And you should be comfortable with that. And some of them probably just really enjoy the shit. They don't want to admit it. Like, I enjoy fighting bitches over niggas. You know what I'm saying?
How about the actual trick? One of Slim's actual old tricks he had. He's like,
met back up with her.
Why, baby? Why you chose to give it up, baby? She's like, because bitches was getting killed and they was getting robbed for their money.
Right.
And, okay, that's great way.
I think she also said bitches were disappearing. I think that she said that too. I think she was like, bitches disappearing, losing their cars and shit. Like, it
was real. 40s, 50s, you could disappear a little easier back then.
And I guess by everybody that was in association at the time with Slim, one of his models was you can leave whenever you want.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I guess the dude was so good to him that they didn't want to leave.
Right.
Yep.
He was a different kind of because you hear stories, you hear about other pimps that were really like, nah, they just put foots in them at all times. He was like, in order to do that, you gotta do
gorilla pimp.
You gotta
finesse, you gotta love, you gotta show that caring.
Too, you know what I'm
you
saying?
slap and then hug. Like the nigga was like slapping the shit out of him and then hugging him.
You know what? I just had a bad day. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
This motherfucker I had to talk to this motherfucker where I didn't want. Yeah, baby, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to take that out.
Right. Now she accepts your apologies and she knows not to try to do that again. It's fucked. It's a fucked up thing,
exactly.
But it's like a government.
Matter of fact, you know what? As a matter of fact, baby, we're gonna right now. Come on, man.
Yeah.
That erases everything. You take a girl shopping, and you know what I'm saying? In that situation, in that world, and in that reality.
Oh yeah, this thing.
You take a girl shopping. Let's paint the picture here. You're AKA playing God. Right? Now, they're looking up to you as a God. God is choosing me to buy things. What's me to accompany him.
At that point, she's anointed.
And he's
going
to buy, and God is going to spend his money on me.
Yeah.
Special.
Shit. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. God's dropping a verse on my album. You know what I'm saying? That type of shit.
God's iPod.
Exactly. Yo, you know what also was nuts? Now we see masks more because of what's happening in our lives, but when he went on the fucking talk shows masked up to like not reveal his identity.
That was crazy.
Can you imagine how much that drummed up sales? Because
that was fucking.
Oh my God, who is he? What does he look like? Why can't he show his face?
I just think that mask should be sold somewhere and I'd wear it for Halloween. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Like
the leather diaper, whatever it is.
Right. He was like, yo, Iceberg's black jock strap on his head with the goggles, nigga. Want it.
Yo, that was a weird looking mask, too.
Yeah.
That
was some custom made shit,
bro.
Yeah, niggas in Hollywood make that shit.
Was like some.
He made that shit
like some
12 minutes before the show.
Yo, somebody on the set of Star Wars made that shit for him, nigga, because I was right around the same time.
Well, was he clean then and sober?
That was after he was putting the book out. Yeah, so he was
okay. Yeah. All right. I was just saying.
He was talking about the book, so he didn't want to be identified because of the book. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be niggas that know me. Like, come on, Slim. What you mean? Niggas that know you.
No, I was just thinking like if he was on drugs, that mask choice makes sense. To where he's just like, I'm wearing the mask. No, I'm gonna go. I'm wearing the mask. Don't worry about it. Fucking.
Nah, it was and
how about Iceberg Slim creating the first white boy Rick?
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
White boy Rick.
Trick Baby? Trick Baby, was it?
Trick, what it was?
Yes. Yeah. It was basically a white dude, perpetrating fraud. You know what I mean? It was a con. It was a white pimp, but he was fronting. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And they bit and they fucking ate that up.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So basically, that was like, you know, a white boy, the first white boy Rick in a sense.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This man was
True.
genius, man. If you ask me,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I
He
I appreciate it
revolutionized.
when
He revolutionized, man. You know what I mean? Like he revolutionized the art of
profession.
writing. You know what I'm saying? He to me, and also I looked at it also as what he was doing was kind of like whistleblowing kind of thing in terms of now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Where
Airing out the
like
business.
check this
Oh
out,
yeah,
right?
he's teaching people how to
To the
wrestle.
guy,
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
to the
It's Takashi
guys
6ix9ine in this
not
bitch.
in that, like to the people that didn't know and to the people that wasn't around or lived that experience, it was attractive. It was glamorous. We fucking was in awe of it, right? But to the motherfuckers that were doing it and in it, were like, what the fuck this nigga doing? Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck are you doing, man? Like you exposing the game, man. You killing us, man.
Right.
Like, what the
How
fuck are
many?
you
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah, but
You know what I mean? Because that's
every
exactly what
pimp
he
in
did.
it's crazy because every pimp in the 60s and 70s had that nigga's books, man. That's just crazy. You know what I mean? They
Yep.
had the books
You know what
still.
I'm saying? And you know, and they were like, holy shit.
Shout out to Don
So
Juan, still looking the same, nigga, with the fucking money suit on. Don Juan, man.
You
He
know what
been
he was
looking the
called? He's not
same
even
since
called the pimp.
forever.
You see what they titled him as?
He's
They
a
titled him as the pimp.
spiritual advisor. Hey, man, I'm so glad you mentioned that because that was one of the things I was cracking. I was like, this nigga, spirit advisor.
About changing the game. Huh?
He goes, well,
Spiritual.
what are we going to put in your title as?
Wow.
As he sips out of his goblet, yeah, we're going to spiritual advisor. Your
Mhm.
soul needs guiding.
Even with his pimp cup. He's the first one to have him cut. First one with a pimp cup.
That was the Pimp cup. That was Don Juan
Don
shit?
Juan. Yeah,
Don
you know?
Juan.
Yeah.
Don Juan was born in 1950. Wow. He's another one from Chicago.
6 years older than Mars. That nigga's
Yeah.
fucking in 70s right now.
So
But all that shit, remember the
you
players' balls and shit? The niggas had players' balls
Yeah,
back then, man. Like,
yeah.
it was glamorized, man. You gotta understand, it's like the foulest of professions that you could probably do with somebody was a glamorous thing. And we looked at that, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Like the guy selling drugs on your block because of his lifestyle and how he's living, these become your idols, you know what I mean? They were like, they were the rappers of their time, you know what I mean? People looked at them like, yo, these are the rappers, man. You think about the
Like
flashiness of
Snoop
a
was saying, they
rapper
were
now,
heroes, man. They were
that was them.
heroes, like Snoop was saying.
Right,
I know,
and it's like it's so fucked up when you
celebrities.
think about it, right? But when you think about actually what they do, it's fucked up. But you get it.
Oh,
you know
of
what I'm saying?
course. But
It's a
it is
crazy
interesting
fucking
that it
trade-off.
used to be accepted so much more. Like, think about a boxing match. There was always a fucking pimp in the first 2-3 rows. Like, it was ridiculous. Walk through with dumb amount of furs with like 3 or 4 girls with them, and you're like,
right?
Everyone knows
listen.
exactly what you do, but somehow they were. And back in the day, it seemed like they weren't hiding from nobody. They were on the block. They were out there showing it all. So I feel like it used to be somewhat accepted.
Right.
Yeah, that was it back then.
Now you take yourself into the mind of a fucking 11-year-old, 10, 11, 12. You're remembering at that point, 11, 12. You're very impressionable, especially at 11, 12. You're very impressionable. So when you're out there on the block or whatever, and you see this motherfucker's coming around, he got all the girls, they're all over him. He got all the money, he got the cars, he got the fly clothes, and you just sitting there eating your fucking, drumstick like, ice cream shit, just looking around like, damn, I want to be like that. You know what I mean? Like you said, celebrity status, man. This is your local celebrities. Anybody selling drugs or pimping women.
Chris Rock explained it great, where he was like trying to understand. He's like, wait, so you mean like the first time he understood it, he's like, you mean, wait, they go and then they bring the money back to him and he doesn't, wait, he does nothing? Like,
man, that's the gig right there. Right? Somebody think about it's like, right, people work for you. And what Ice-T said, let's be honest, it's you go through life, either you work for people or people work for you. It's kind of one of those trade-offs.
That's a great fucking example because that's the 100% truth.
Yeah.
Either you're working for yourself or you're working for somebody.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It's just a pecking order of life, man.
But all in all, man, get the little dust off my shoulder, man.
Yeah.
This is a good docket, man. I think we're ready to put our votes out there, man. I don't like giving out 5s all the time, man. I'm gonna give this 4 and 3/4
Oh,
watermelons.
shit.
The wedge taken out.
Come on, nigga.
Just the wedge.
Come on,
We're
nigga.
gonna go
Let's be-
forward.
let's- Come on.
Listen, I like to explain why my quarter was taken out. Okay. I took it out because when you spitting your shit on your pimp shit, you can't give him the whole pie. You got to leave a slice out for somebody to acknowledge that and absorb that and consume that. So I took a
Hello.
wedge out of that total 5 because there is a slight part of me that says, ha, nigga, what if it was my mom or my daughter and I
Shit.
can't really support pimping on that level? So I give a quarter slice for those that lay the hands down because I can't 100%, but this story alone, this documentary was uplifting, inviting. It was an admirable, you know, lessons learned there that a man learned the lesson. I mean, I already know that to me, it's wrong. Of course, I'm like, yeah, it's wrong. I couldn't do no shit like that. So if it's something I couldn't do, I'm going to say it's wrong. You know what I'm saying? But for a man to say, listen, this is the shit that took me to that place, and this is what I did, and this is what I learned from it, and now I'm trying to give y'all gems out there of understanding the mindset of somebody like me and what I was doing, and then here's some gems for you to kind of get through your part of life if you're going down that path, or just learn from me or listen to hear me out. Like, and became an author and you know, something that, you know, rich white people sat down at their coffee tables in the mansion and read the Pimp book. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hell yeah.
that's pretty phenomenal if you ask me. Like, oh, darling, I'm just reading Pimp here by Iceberg Slim. You know what I mean? Like, that was a thing. So it's not a negative quarter slice. It's just a quarter slice taken out because a quarter slice is probably about the width of a pimp hand. So we're gonna leave that quarter hand out for the non-believers. But all in all, man, great documentary. Iceberg Slim. I have more of an understanding for the man, and I respect his OG status as far as doing something actually at the time that was like, whoa, you know, with everything going on in the country and in the world, you were kind of doing something that was illegal but edgy, and illegal and edgy as a black man in this country. That's surreal. So all in all together packagely, I like it, man. 4 3/4 melons, man. Quarter slap, hands with pimp slap. That's what I left out. Okay. Canepas, rock with it.
So this is what I'm gonna do.
Talk about it.
This is what I'm gonna do, Playboy. I'm gonna take your little 3/4 man of the mind. I'm gonna get this motherfucking 5 3/4. You know? You dig?
Shit.
Now, if I'm talking too fast, it's because y'all listening too slow. You dig? Because I said 5 3/4, and this is why. You know what I mean? Because that's the peak. This is what we talking about, the documentary, right?
Break it down.
For all those right reasons, what you just said, I agree, 1,000,000%. I agree. But we're talking about this man legacy and what he did, and what he did is what he did. You did.
I understand that. I understand that 100%. All I saw is I can judge.
If we talking about that, well then I got to give it what it is, baby, and what it is 5 3/4.
5 3/4. I dig it.
Getting that box, baby. You know what we talking about.
Talking about pie.
So with that being all said, baby, that's all I got to say, and I'll just hand it over to my man FIFA.
So just
beautiful.
5, look, straight pimp shit, nigga. Straight into the point. Lay it down. Step to the side. I respect
Let
you,
him
Dad
know
Daddy.
it's real.
Cat Daddy, I respect it.
I enjoyed this one. This was a good one. There was a lot of comedic moments. They were in there for a while, but I wish we got a little bit more on his daughters because of the brick situation and because of their disagreement of that there was no don't do it to me. Don't do it. Don't you fucking do it.
I'm about to come with it.
I know. That's that focus arm right there. That's that focus into the black. Oh, don't you brick flare. Woo! This is don't make me do it.
Guys,
oh my
guys,
goodness.
remember, she's passed on. Come on.
All right.
Rest
she was
in
4
peace.
at the time, so that's wrong. All right. But I get
Come on.
Now,
proceed.
because I wanted to hear more about their story because I I understand it wasn't all about them. It was all about Iceberg Slim, but that piqued my interest of like, ooh, I'd like to hear more about obviously their story growing up in that environment, which had to be, of course, mind fucking melting. It doesn't even make sense. For me, I went with 4 pumpkins. And the reason I went with 4 is because I don't have half of a pumpkin. I only have another full pumpkin. And I had to take the half off because, bro, when they first, I don't mind there being a documentary with beats over it, but they did the first beat for like 8 fucking minutes. And it's a great beat. It's a Dr. Dre beat, but the first beat was like 8 fucking minutes long and a little bit too loud. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just like a little bit too loud
Right. Like
to hear the people talk,
like,
where I was like,
shit.
yeah, I put on the closed captioning when I watched it, but that was the only little, dig I could give. There was so it's not necessarily the stuff inside the documentary. It would be the people mixing the documentary fucked me up the most. Yeah.
Right.
But
put together.
As far as the stories, that was amazing. And I feel like I keep doing this. Not keep doing this is only the second time, but I feel like I got a ghost. I got a ghost pumpkin because I feel like I'll give it 5 after I read the book Pimp, because I'm going to read the book Pimp. So I feel like, it is there, but it's
in the wind. It's gonna come around.
5 in the wind. It's 5 pumps in the wind.
5 pumps in the
which
wind.
is another story about a gay pilot that we need to fucking there were bananas in the wind at first. Then there's 5 pumps in the wind. What the fuck?
5
yeah,
pumps
man.
in the wind.
That's a beautiful
The
thing.
picture,
So we gave him
the picture is 5 fire hydrants in the fucking sky.
Oh yeah. I got a 4. I got a 4 with a ghost 5. I believe it is what I'm doing.
5.
I got a 4 with a late 5. It's coming, but it's gonna be after I read that book. I know I'm gonna be fully satisfied.
Yeah, I keep my quarter in my pocket just in case shit get real. Keep that quarter wedge in here in case shit get real in these streets, nigga. Oh man. So all in all, that was pretty phenomenal. I brought Pimps this week, man, and it was a pimp.
No, that was great.
Turned righteous in life.
That was a great fucking documentary.
I felt as though that was a great story that I didn't really know as much about, and it pulled me.
Great.
So.
That was a dope pick. I love it.
So I believe this week
loved it. I even cried when he died, man.
Listen, I got a little teary, a little bit there. Cat Daddy.
Yeah.
It's on you this week, man.
Talk about it. Let me go. All right. So the pick of the litter this week is called 3801. And 5 of you can give us some visuals on this. It's called 3801 Lancaster.
3801
is the name of the documentary.
Is that like Lancaster, Pennsylvania?
Yep. And yes, absolutely. Actually, you should play the lotto because it's about a doctor in Philadelphia, West Philadelphia, who
born and raised,
who mutilates and kill women and children. I say again, this is a doctor who's prestigious and upheld in this community, who's highly looked upon as high stature in this community, turns and something snaps and he starts killing babies and women. And 3801 Lancaster was the address of the office that he was executing.
How long ago this happened? I feel like I remember this story. Didn't they like?
This is not too long ago.
Right, and they uncovered like a bunch of fucking fetuses, unborn fetuses and shit, like jars
body
and
parts.
shit.
Yeah.
He would like fucking. He had people giving birth to babies and would like fucking cut the babies' necks with like fucking like the snip, like cut their vertebrae.
So basically, he was like a fucking doing experiment. Yeah. Hit the trailer for the viewers.
This is the film, American Tragedy. 3801 Lancaster, American Tragedy. All right.
Lancaster, American Tragedy. Yes.
Damn, P.
And you can't even trust them anymore.
And they saying, and they trying to say that that the state was in it, and they just turned a blind eye, and they knew about it all along, and that they didn't.
Legal abortions.
Trying to say they didn't know and all of that. But you gotta get tuned in and watch it to see what the fuck's going down. You dig?
Yeah. You went from pimps to killers.
Yeah, that's the pick of the week. That's the pick of the
All right.
week, man.
3801 Lancaster. Morning.
Ooh.